It says it's sending data. Is it sending the data? I think it's getting there. All right. Welcome everybody to the Indie Pod podcast. We are absolutely late. We normally start at 8:00. It's now 9:30. I think I promised that we would be doing it at 9:00, but we are here now. I'm Super Joe Pardo, and I want to hear from you during this live stream broadcast. Pop in the chat where you're listening from. I know it's getting later, but hey, on the West Coast, it's not so late. They're just getting home from work. Anyway, if you want to join us at the Indie Pod Conference, the Independent Podcast Conference, September 24th, 26th, 2020. It's going down. It's going to be here in Jersey. I'll have more announcements coming soon. If you haven't bought your ticket yet, you can get a 10% discount when you go to indiepodcon.com/register. Type in IPP for a 10% discount. The tickets will never be cheaper than they are right this second. I promise you that. And it won't be cheaper than with that discount. So go get it. Other things I need to talk about. There is a free masterclass webinar that I am running with Samantha Riley tomorrow night. It's called Monetize Your Podcast. And it says next Thursday, but it's actually tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Go to indiepodcon.com/MYP to register. Seating is limited. And more details coming soon. I'm still trying to hammer out the details of a Philly podcaster meetup November 17th, early afternoon, probably like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, in the Philadelphia city itself. More details coming soon. I'm working between me and Melissa. We're trying to get it all hammered out here. And I have one more announcement before I introduce my guest to the right of me. The MapCon 5 vlog is coming out next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You'll be able to watch it live at indiepodcon.com/vlog 5. The number 5. It's done. It took like 2 months, but it's here, and I'm just going through and reviewing it. It's gonna be. I love it. I think it's some of my best work that I've put together to date. Oh, we got comments flying in here. Brent Basham, sup? Larry Roberts, what's going on? Guy B. Searle, he's in Washington, D.C. listening. You down with IPP? Yeah, you know me.
Hey there, DC.
Yeah, and Lou said, you know me. And that's right. We had to mention DC Podfest is happening next weekend. And
next weekend.
Next weekend down in DC, November 1st and 2nd. You got to go dcpodfest.com. If you use, I have a discount code. If you use discount code Super Joe, one word, you will get $50 off your ticket. So go and do that. And while you're introducing yourself, I will make a banner for that so I can splash it up on the screen. And also, pop in the chat where you're listening from. Be interactive. We're taking questions. It's late. I'm loopy. I got a couple hours of sleep last night and writing this. Anyway, I have the pleasure of introducing. I think you've been on the show. This is your second time, maybe third time on the.
So.
But yeah, it definitely is at least your second time. It might.
You have your own network of 90 million Joe Pardo shows, so. I know I've been on a few throughout the past few years.
Yes, and I am honored to have you back here with me on the Indie Pod podcast. Everybody, give it up for the 22 years in the DJing and radio industry, 13 years as a podcaster, getting close to 14 years as a podcaster. Everybody give it up for Mary Nichols. Woo!
Hey, Mary Nichols, aka DJ Fusion of the Fusebox radio broadcast. For those who may not be familiar, we do a show that's a mix of music and talk about all kinds of subjects, everything from politics to pop culture. Shout out to my co-host John. Some of y'all might know him as the Black Hawk on there and all that. And in terms of the music, we do everything from a mix of independent and mainstream hip hop, soul, funk, jazz, reggae, and all that. Hey, Lou, just shout out to StreamYard. This program is dope. I'm looking at all the chat folks coming in and everything. Through this. And as Joe gave the announcement, I've been podcasting for 13 years. Next year will be 14, which feels absurd. And I started the show actually when I was a student as an undergrad at Rutgers University Radio over in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and pretty much everything went through and kept on since then. So like my mom and other folks will say, it's like I don't have a kid, but I have a really old show, and apparently it's one of the more stable things that has been around throughout the decades for people. And as I'm sure we're going to get into, this entire podcasting and broadcasting thing has been a journey, and hope we get into some cool talk with everything.
Yeah, yeah. So if you have a question for Mary or I, just pop it in the chat below. I will do my best to get it splashed up here on the screen, and we'll try to answer it. So to kick it off, like we were talking right before the show. We were talking for probably close to 20 minutes
Yeah.
before hitting the live button, which was not good for me.
But
Well,
I apologize in advance. Traffic was horrible. For those who are from the DC metro area, y'all know how it can be. Big thumbs down to 495 today, trying to get back to my place of residence and all that.
Well, no, that's fine. That part's fine. It's just, I was talking, and we were talking back and forth for a while before we hit the record button. So it's all good. But one of the things we were talking about was AppSumo, and I mean they're not a
Mhm.
sponsor or anything like that. But if they want to sponsor, I'm down for that.
I will also take discount codes.
Yeah,
Totally,
yeah, right.
no
I
problem
could use some
at all.
discount codes as well. And we were discussing one. Well, that we both like. We're just like, take my money. Here's $49, $49,
Hmm.
$49. Like like almost every week, every week they're
Pretty
getting.
much at this juncture, for real. It's
I
crazy.
buy services I don't even know if I'm going to use at some point. Hopefully, I'll use. Um, but do you find yourself buying stuff that you're not even sure if you're going to wind up using it?
I have some design software from them I haven't really used in depth yet, but everything else I've utilized from them I've purchased. We were talking offline, like I think Bookmark. They do different website hosting and everything. I bought stuff through them. We were talking actually about some of the live streaming programs they're offering as of late and things for webinars and so forth. So I'm hemming and hawing over what I'm going to put my credit card out for this week before some of these sales in. For those who aren't familiar with AppSumo, they do just a lot of interesting discounts on different types of software and applications that I think actually is really, really good on different levels for a podcast, whether it's everything from just doing promotion to keeping, maybe appointments and things in check. Just things that help you tweak your stuff out a little bit in terms of making parts of your life a bit easier. The only thing is with AppSumo, it can be semi addictive because part of you just there like, oh, this is less than however much money. So you might want to research what's being offered and make sure that it actually fits what you want to use. But they do have a ton of great stuff. Like some companies you may be familiar with, some you might not be. But they've been very consistent. So yeah, give them a look. I'm not getting any promo money for hyping them up. I'm just literally saying what I like to use and other type
Yeah.
of things. So definitely give that a check. And I know one of the things we were probably going to end up pivoting into was I know like right now we're doing like a live video stream that's going to be put into the audio podcast format or whatever soon. Um, I notice more and more people are utilizing this type of tool. Like for yourself, like what made you decide to get into using these type of things for your podcast? Is it more of just having being able to do face to face interviews, having an easier way to distribute your content amongst other channels? Like, how do you see that? Because most of my type of stuff I do tends to be audio based. Besides, when we go out to music festivals and stuff, that will like have an audio visual component with like videos, photos, and all that on top of talking about various things.
Well, so first off, I love video because I get to see the human reaction. I get to see body language. I get the right now my background is not exactly the best at the moment. But in previous years, like I mean, if you look over here, like my record, that's just some of my records over here, and I like
Mm-hmm.
to dress up my background. If it was up to me, I would have my desk over there so that my background could be here. Um, but to me, it's just much more friendlier to do it that way.
Mhm.
And really the but it's not just about the video, it's about the distribution, right? And I
Mhm.
for me, like, I've kind of have gotten past the point of like really caring about the numbers of how many downloads a podcast, my podcast gets and stuff like that, and just worrying more about like reaching people. And that's, really the thing, because you look at like think about like big massive media companies, right? You look at like the NFL, or you look at like CBS or ABC or whoever,
Mhm.
right? And they are constantly promoting, constantly marketing their newest shows, their newest upcoming episodes of things, right? Like, they're constantly marketing. Like, these, you would think like, hey, they spend billions of dollars just creating the stuff, when we're just like, oh, if they create it, we'll come. And I
Mhm.
feel like a lot of podcasters can fall into that trap, like, oh, if I build this podcast, like, it's going to naturally attract these people that I'm targeting, and blah blah blah. And to a degree it may, but I think a lot of it's in the marketing, getting the message out to people. One of the things that I ask
Mhm.
at the end of all of my Business with Super Joe Pardo and Dreamers podcast, even before that, was, my call to action was, hey, if you enjoyed this episode, you got something out of this, pick up the phone, pick up your messenger thinger, your rectangle,
Mhm.
and message somebody about it, and make sure that they know, because then it's that you're asking for that one-on-one human interaction. And then it kind of guilts people into the feeling like, oh, I should go check that out, because Mary, was like, oh, Mary was like, hey, you should go check out this episode. I think you might get something out of this. And then now I feel guilty if I don't. So it's and then you never know. You might get a fan out of it, you might not. You might get a download. But it's all, to me, it's about getting the distribution to the people, and where the people are going. I mean, people are on Facebook. Like, people are watching this right now on Facebook. In fact,
Yeah.
I'll share my screen right now. Let's see, you can actually see which channels the people are coming from. So 3 are on my profile viewing it, one in the icon group, and one on the icon Facebook page. So
Okay. Coolness.
yeah. Oh, hey Felix, how you doing? Um, yeah. So to me, it's just about distribution and getting it in front of as many people as possible, because they don't necessarily know, and you want them to know. I'd rather them know than not know, because, oh, I gotta have the biggest numbers in my blah 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 thing. Now, if it turns out that way, that's awesome. But I feel like that becomes an unexpected um, consequence of just doing it regularly, getting it in front of lots of people, and people are going to consume it where they want. There's so many platforms that people are on anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
just as I showed you, I have tons of platforms I could stream this to, and I pick certain ones, and it just works. Um, so yeah, does that answer your question? What do you feel? What do you feel about your distribution, and your
Um,
video versus audio?
well, the thing is, like on my end, like we haven't really done too much video. We were just looking at some of the better ways to maybe do it regularly, since most of the time we do it as a semi erratic because of just the way our focus is. Now, with us being a music and talk podcast, like we could do something in regards, maybe our beginning talk segment, doing that particular portion live, and then getting it streamed out, because the music aspect gets weird right now, depending on what type of distribution mode that you're in. We're blessed and lucky that a lot of people who submit already know you're dealing with, a broadcast show and a podcast. So, the quote unquote pod safe thing is not necessarily our concern through the different companies and individuals who distribute music to us. But let's say some algorithm like YouTube feels away one day and we're doing like a live mix. That's it. It shuts down. Facebook, that's it. It'll shut down. Now with Facebook, I'm not necessarily as sure, because I know some people have done whole DJ sets on Facebook Live and been okay, and some people it'll be there like it'll just be that one song and then silence and or black screen. You look crazy. You got people who might be in the groove listening, like what's going on, you know. So with our end, it's just looking at things in terms of, besides me and my co-host interaction, some of the stuff we talk about, having video of that, like perhaps in this particular format you're doing right now. Let's say there's various people that we interview. I like the idea of being able to virtually look at somebody and talk to them, and vice versa, while everybody's being interactive and things as well. So, like, I see you using StreamYard, right now. A lot of
Hmm.
folks have been talking about that at the different podcast conferences and things I've been to. I know there's various other stuff being offered. So on our end, it's just stepping up from the audio portion where we have a pretty nice concentrated audience and trying to expand a bit more. Because the main thing with doing this for a while is, trying to keep as fresh as possible, right? And whatnot. Like you got a good thing going, nothing's wrong with that. But when you have this show and other things will eventually expand to as creators, it's like, well, what can we incorporate that's interesting for us as creatives, but it's also like not going to break your pocket and actually be efficient. And it seems like right now the video streaming is like it. Like I know a few folks who have used video streaming like with different services and so forth. And I think it does help entrench your audience that you already have, much less have other things grow because there's more of a personal aspect. Well, I mean, when you see somebody's face, that's pretty damn personal, So
Yeah,
I
yeah, it
think
doesn't
that's
get much more personal than that.
Mhm.
Speaking of the DJing thing, and I feel like we've had this conversation before for sure, but one of the things for anyone who doesn't know, I DJ as well.
They
But
showing off the equipment. We see you. We see you.
yeah. So, but the thing about it is it's so hard to share the mixes and the art and the passion because it's not it's not, I don't even want to put it in quotes because it's technically it's just not legal
Not
without
see
the
the
right
live thing is.
licensing and stuff.
Yeah, but say the live thing is funny on that end right now. Like recorded. I mean, there's plenty of music podcasts that are out
Mhm.
here
Oh yeah.
right now, and fingers, toes, and everything's crossed. Nothing changes over with that. But I think a lot of that was labels, mainstream and independent, one to be there. Like, well, if we can necessarily break out in this mainstream mode immediately, the better ways to break things has always been quote unquote the underground, right? It used to be mixtapes, house parties, etc. Right now, it's essentially the few good remaining music blogs and sites that are left, and podcast. So with that, like we're getting in a real interesting stage because it looks like podcasting is probably going to be here to stay for a minute. Like, say, get the big guys get on board, you're probably going to be decent for a while. It's just a matter of are indies like you and me going to be able to rock and do our thing as long as we can. And with music, it's literally a matter of how the distributor wants to look at it and do things. Like again, for us, a lot of these companies that'll give us things with us independent are just like, okay, this is a podcast, it's cool, it's fine, they have their various things registered with certain companies like the sound exchanges and other things of the world. So that portion is not a worry. But we just also gotta look at like, let's say my podcast host is fine, all these other people are fine, but the video format, we can run to a problem because even with people who we've seen these stories in a lot of music magazines, you got people who will put up their own stuff sometimes and have it taken down because maybe their sub label is okay, but the huge distributor is like, oh no, we didn't know that this particular thing was clear with it, which sounds crazy, but we're just in a semi Wild West thing on that particular because gotten to a particular place and has grown. Right now with podcasting, the worry is not so much that we might not exist for a while. It's like, is it going to exist on our rules or is it going to exist on some amorphous big groups rules? In terms of what's going on, because we got to look at the fact that the distributor, nobody really cares about a distributor if they're not getting you the product that they want on time, right? Or the product that they, necessarily want to get into and grab. And again, some of these folks have different rules. I think what's going to get down to brass tacks is going to have to be some type of organization within it. And I just think we're at a real unique place to grab onto it while we can before, who knows, maybe one day the biggest distributor of music is just there. Like, we want to control things through our own distributor, through our own format of podcasting. And either y'all going to have to hand up a bunch of money or you got to join maybe another podcast distributor you might not want to join. or upload service or whatever else.
Well, so yeah, so a couple things there, right? Number
Hey Nick, see you
one,
messaging there. Mhm.
I'm sorry, what?
I just saw Nick's message. I said, "Hey
Oh,
Nick."
hey Nick, how you doing?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's a couple things there. So one, unfortunately, I think you had to dip out at MapCon before Todd Cochran got to speak.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's after him, Blueberry.
yeah, the president of Blueberry. You should go download your virtual ticket if you haven't already, and go listen to his talk, because his whole talk was about the RSS feed and how imperative it is for freedom of speech, and maintaining that so that it's not, it's not, taken over by a media company, and
Hmm.
basically set up so that, like, you can only distribute through here. um and then the other side that you were talking about, there is somebody working on getting music labels to sign on with podcasts to be able to use, produced music,
Hmm.
like legit produced music. So it's coming. I think we're getting closer and closer. But I guess it just depends on how much of a presence you place on that, right? Having your own tones. I mean, one of the things, I think it was Chip Edwards that had the whole, at the end of his talk, had the audio tone.
Hmm.
He was playing the different audio tones, and like having your own audio tone signature is like super important. And it's something like I know I mean, I knew about it, but it's not something I really thought about, and
Hmm.
how we should be keying in, which is really ironic that here on the Indie Pod podcast, I have zero music, zero sound, zero production value, other than getting to have great conversations with podcasters. Um, but
It's Joe sounds. That's what you got right now.
yeah, right. It's all the Joe sounds. Well, I want to get one of those roadcasters at some point, but I gotta justify like $600 for something that I don't really need. Don't really
Oh,
need, but it'd be
well,
nice to have.
I saw that at She podcast a week or two ago. Same. I was looking at like, damn, it's you see like that glow of the new electronics, and it's pretty. They actually had people testing it out and showing how it worked. I'm just like, I can't spend this damn money right now. I got bills to pay the second I come
I
back.
got an NPC to buy. Darn it.
I got an NPC that will be finished paid off shortly. So it's like, yeah, let's handle that first before we're just there like, ooh, new shiny thing. Yeah,
So,
probably done in the long run.
so did you get to enjoy a She podcast live?
Oh, it was great. Like honestly, especially for a first time event in general, like LC Escobar and Jessica Kupferman, ladies of She podcast, they threw down. It was an extremely well run event. I think the programming was really really balanced. People came in there to both build and have fun. It was just a good vibe. It was a good environment.
That's
And
awesome.
if anything, I just wish that it's one of those things where you actually say that you wish that stuff was like longer,
Mm.
just to be able to cover various things. It was like that type of thing because next thing I know, I'm like, damn, I gotta fly back, and I had to leave partially early that Sunday to get
Oh,
back into the DC metro area and all of that. But it was cool, and I definitely hope that after they've recouped, because I'm sure putting all that together was a lot. Like every event to me is a lot to do, whether people want to talk about it being like small, medium, big. Like you're putting a lot of yourself, a lot of your time, and the people who's putting in time to help you out do stuff. So I hope once they recoup and look at everything, they do another event. And,
they
well,
didn't they didn't announce one at the end, did they?
um, not that I can remember off the top of my head, but I mean, it went gangbusters from like my view.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Attendees who participated in all
Super,
that. So.
super proud of them. Both
Mhm.
Jess and Elsie. Jess been, for people that don't know, Jess has been a part of this community, the Icon community, for since the first one, back
Yeah.
in the school gymnasium. So, so proud of her, stepping up to the plate and delivering a platform, not only in the podcast, because, obviously her platform from a podcasting standpoint has grown, but from performing their own live event, I think that's absolutely awesome. So I was hoping to go. I was like this close to like last minute making it happen, but the finances end of it just wasn't going to work out. I just waited too long to make a decision, unfortunately. But yeah, so next year if they're doing it, it's going to be on my calendar to be there to support them. So Mary, when it comes to well, actually, wait. So Felix is talking about the
See,
L8
Zoom live.
Zoom live track. I had not seen that Zoom had a. Let's check this out here real quick.
I have not either. I gotta note that down.
Let's see. Oh wow! Look at.
Be
Oh
like,
wait,
be like
wait.
more new tech for me to envy and put on
Oh,
my
that's what I wanted. Yeah.
get my
So.
Sweetwater card. I see. Ooh,
Wow,
okay.
that's
That's a board for real.
that is a board. That is a board. I think that is absolutely going for a very different crowd than the roadcaster.
Yeah.
Control
Shout out to Felix for
strip.
trying to have folks pay more money for the home studio. I see. Looking at this thing right here.
Yeah, how much does that come to? I'm not gonna be able to type in the whole thing. Sweet. I'm just gonna go L8 Zoom live track. Save me, Google. Oh, okay. Three nine
About
three
three,
ninety nine. That's
three to
not
five,
bad.
depending on where you go. Not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. And that $200 cheaper. So he says not the L12. Go to the L8. Oh, the L12 is I guess what I pulled up originally. Is this this is the
I
L12?
think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I was looking at the wrong thing. Oh, my browser's not. There it goes.
Let's see here.
That's
Oh, that looks
yeah.
pretty too.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
definitely. But it doesn't have like the NPC buttons, pads to to do your fart noises and your crashes and your gunshots and all that.
Yeah, but say it doesn't have the big patches. You just say like, ooh, pretty. I need to buy all of these.
Yeah, I'll take nice pads. I think I'll take 4. Um,
Like the way my nerd self goes, I'm just there like, that's pretty. Give me all
so
the give me all
so
the ones.
so Mary, how do you put off the gear itch?
um, hmm. Okay. For me, like in terms of like what buying my gear, the gear that I currently have, how
Well,
do I utilize what's
like
going on?
oh, shiny thing. I think I'll buy it. Like how do you turn it off? Like how do you say no?
Um,
Nah, I'm good.
Looking at my bank balance, do I really need this? And then I'm going from there. That's the majority of it. But in all honesty, it really depends on how I'm trying to utilize something. Because I personally am a music tech nerd, always have been. I like seeing what's new, what's out there, and all that. But in regards to not just the show, but the music equipment that we use for our outside events and stuff like that, you really just had to be here like, is this going to actually be used or is it going to go on ahead and collect dust, right? Like for me, I recently had to get a new DJ control, but that's because my Tractor S2 ended up dying, but I had it for like 6 or so years. So right now, for
That's
those who are
not
at Soup
bad. I
Podcast,
mean,
yeah, it lasted for a good
yeah.
period of time.
I
And
mean,
then it
for
was
the amount that you use it, I mean, I imagine you use it what almost every weekend, plus like
um,
during the week to like practice and stuff.
yeah, like it lasted for a good period of time and all that. Plus, they now all give you the softwares and everything. So I like literally got like 3, 4 kinds of DJ software now, like Serato, Tractor, Virtual DJ, and DJ Pro. And that's all through my different controllers and stuff I've used. But like right now, I have a Denon. I think it's DCN 5000. It's in my bag upstairs. I can't look at it right now. I'm traveling from She Podcast, and I have the Roland DJ 505. which was partially for the bigger gigs I traveled to and partially as my nerd gift for me and whatnot. The DJ 808 is too much, as some people may see my top half is short because I'm short or whatever. So like the 808 would have just been like the size of my arm span, and I really didn't need all those buttons and other things, even though it's super cool. And all
Was
of
that a
that.
sequencer at the top of
Um,
that?
yeah, like it's
Pretty
pretty dope
cool.
because you got like the signature parts, and then you can have like the button pads, but that you can do like different sampling and stuff from. But it's just all the regular DJ things that you use. For myself, I got the 505, not just because of all of that, which is like totally cool and everything, and the Serato software that it includes because you get the pro DJ with that. Also because of the outputs that you have.
Mm,
So, you got the SLR plus the RCA. I think the quarter inch is there too. I haven't really
looks
used
like
that
it.
and all of that. So, especially for like not just home recording, but for like outside type of recording, it's good to like have all of those options depending on what you're trying to plug into. You will naturally want to plug into something that's going to give you clear sound, whether it's like your monitors, PA speakers, and all of that. Plus, if I'm using something like those to like plug into all of my stuff here, like I would be plugging into my sound card, so it'll record to my digital audio workstation, my DAW program, to like
Mm-hmm.
record mixes and stuff. So on that end, if folks want to get super nerdy and technical in terms of what I use to record, I really like Reaper a lot lately. If
Hmm.
folks on Reaper.fm, it is actually a really good but inexpensive recording program. I think the license is like maybe a little over $60. And it's very good, very professional. I do have like Adobe Creative Cloud, so I got like Adobe Audition and all of that too. Um, Audacity's good for like quick cleanups and stuff, but that's like the main type of things I currently use. I'm actually taking a Pro Tools class now online. Shouts out to Coursera and
Hmm.
whatnot, so I can learn that a bit more. Partially because I got a subscription through the other stuff I do, and partially because I'm like, well, I got an NPC, so I'm eventually going to have to learn all this extra type of stuff anyway. Might as well do it now.
But
And
how do you resist the urge to upgrade or to you know buy more tech?
I'm the type where if my stuff is working now, I don't necessarily need to get something new. Like if I have to expand, you got to look at the aspect of like recently I had a sound card. I had for a minute. It was a Native Instruments complete sound card. I had it for a minute, but it just wasn't end up working for the show anymore. So I
Hmm.
ended up just doing my research and then getting actually shouts out to demo products. Nothing's wrong with a demo or open box, everybody. That's another way you can save money if you got to get
Yeah,
something new.
I
Um,
agree. Always look for the open box.
yeah, I got the Focusrite 616 sound card for $200
Oh
because
wow,
that was a demo version. And that had the MIDI,
that's
input
awesome.
output on top of the mic inputs and lines and all that type of stuff. So that was one of those. Literally, I was at the studio with my homeboy John. We about to record, and it was like, well, we got to get something new, and we just had to look on Sweetwater. I'm like, damn, good bargain. Order it now. Order it now. So it comes in, we can like, record new things. Um, I think we can sometimes get caught up in terms of overbuying things,
Mm.
right? Like whether it's because it's a name brand or because again it's the new shiny thing. Let's not act crazy and act like we don't like new shiny things. Like when I got my NPC, like I got an NPC Studio recently. The only reason I didn't get the NPC Live was A, it was $1,200, and B, I was like, am I going to really use it that heavily at the moment? And I had to be honest with myself, and be like, no, if I get more into this and I want to, step it up, maybe that'll be 40 my 42nd birthday gift to me. But it's not something that one needs now. And I think people got to look at a lot of that type of thing in regard to what they're doing with their shows and other type of stuff. Not just in terms of home studio, but as we were talking about the what the hell was that board we were just talking about? My mind just blanked that quickly.
uh,
Um,
the the live track
yeah,
or the roadcaster.
the Roadcaster. We were just talking about the Roadcaster.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like the Roadcaster. It looks like an excellent piece of equipment. I actually saw people using it live at She Podcast. I'm actually shout out to Molly Rulin and those folks, fellow DC area podcasting folks and whatnot. And she had to join there with like breaking down all the uses and things that you can have it for, including like, phone type of stuff or whatever. Plus it's light. So if you're traveling and doing stuff, that's a good look. Like for me, like I got like the most basic Zoom hand recorder ever. If I'm like running around and doing a recording, I do want to upgrade, but do I need that? That's one of those things I have to look at and really parse and break down, because for my current show, I don't need it. But for a show I'm hoping to launch in 2020, I may, you know, it might be my best usage because, you can plug in the SD card for it and do your thing and record. And then, maybe just come back and just do your quick editing and all of that type of cool stuff. And family member calling. And you just really got to look at what is like your best use. Because I think you can always upgrade, but sometimes I think when we see something new, we go a little above and beyond what we need. And ultimately, it all costs money, right? You just got to be here like, well, right now, if you're doing like a 2-person podcast, you're only doing occasional interviews, maybe you have, a decent handheld thing that you maybe can plug in an XLR mic or something of the sort into. And then if it just gets to a bigger point, you're doing like multiple people, another type of stuff. Maybe that's when you go ahead and you upgrade to something else. You got to look at the aspect of, even when you take care of equipment well, eventually most stuff dies. So you don't want to be like El Cheapo, but, is everybody going to have to like drop, for that $5,000 I'm a professional podcaster kit or whatever the hell these things are coming out lately? Maybe not. I mean, if you got it, live life, enjoy yourself, that's good. But, I think a lot of saving money too is going to come into your research. Like, I got a blue microphone at home. It's great. It's cool. I also got it at the pawn shop. It was a great bargain with that. For people might not be familiar with certain other things, like certain brands that might not be big brands are solid. Like, let's say Monoprice. Monoprice.com for anybody who doesn't know them.
Been there for like a long, like since 2004. I think I started shopping there, 2005, something like that.
Yeah. Like, first and foremost, their cables are fantastic. All this stuff we're talking about, you got to plug things in. So I can perfectly say I will highly recommend their cables. You might not want to get their headphones or whatever else, depending on if you already have stuff at your home. Even though those work very well, I have no problem. I literally got like about 5 Monoprice headphones scattered around my house and whatnot.
Right here, Monoprice headphones. And you know what? These things,
those are the ones I got, and they're dope.
They are $20. You will not find better $20 headphones than this pair right here.
Now, I'm saying removable cable.
Yeah. Remove.
Yeah. All of that.
Removable cable, like
microphone. Yeah. Monoprice microphone.
Monoprice opened up in 2002. I think I started shopping there.
Monoprice. If you want to sponsor us, y'all can do that too. So Monoprice, you can sponsor me and Joe too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm literally just talking about stuff I like to use. But
well, I think I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think you give up a lot of great points though about does it, and I always do the test of like, does this fit into my workflow? Does this make it easier or harder? And how much more money do I have to spend to make it easier? Like I'm recording right now on my Windows PC, right? But like, I use a MacBook Pro, right? Been using MacBook Pro since like 2006 or so. I tried to get away. In fact, in June, I had a 15-inch MacBook Pro. I sold it and tried to switch to a Windows laptop, and I ended up having like 4 or 5 different Windows laptops in like the span of like over the course of like 4 months, or not even 4. Yeah, I guess like 3. Yeah, like 4 months.
Damn.
Yeah, right. And I kept returning them to where I bought them from, because I was like, it just doesn't. The trackpad isn't. Windows trackpads they're better than they were. They're not perfect. The Mac trackpad is perfect. Like I edit entire videos, like the map. Speaking of which, the MapCon 5 vlog that's going to be premiering on YouTube on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. entire thing was pretty much edited on a 13-inch screen with a trackpad, just the way it is. And I was able to do it very quick because the trackpad's very accurate and all that. And to me, it matters because that and the build quality, right? Like
Yeah.
the Mac it's solid. Yeah, it's more expensive than what I could get in a Windows laptop. In fact, the reason I wanted a Windows laptop was for more power, but also so I could play games on the go. Well, as it turns out, in the last, 4 months or so, 5 months, I had very small amount of opportunities to actually go and play games on the go.
Mm.
Uh, well, part of the problem is I couldn't be in my office because my daughter would refuse to go to sleep. So she would be like pounding on the door, trying to get in the room here. And I'm trying to record. So now I started recording out. If anybody remembers, I was recording out in my garage for a while. Then I was recording in my theater room for a while. And I needed a laptop. And my MacBook Pro was like, it worked, but and then I was like, okay, I'm done recording. I want to play a game. Oh, I can't go upstairs, so I'll wake her up, and then I
Yeah.
can't play a game anyway. So I was like, I need something that I can play games. I can do my recordings. I have more power than that 15-inch MacBook Pro offered. And then literally 2 months after I sell them at the 15-inch, they come out with the 13-inch with the quad core built in. I'm like, that's what I've been wanting for a decade.
Yeah.
But I
I
can't
feel
play
you
games
on
on
that.
it. So, ultimately what I did was I found a cheap gaming laptop that I could take, and use and between that and the open box price of this 13-inch MacBook Pro, I got what I wanted. I mean, it ended up costing a lot less than my old 15-inch MacBook Pro, and I got two devices instead of one, but at least I had that versatility of how I want to, manage getting accomplished what I want to get accomplished. So it just what's funny is this, and since I went back to a MacBook Pro, I stopped using. I have an iPad Pro as well, and I pretty much have stopped using it because I'd just rather use this like 9.999 times out of 10.
Mhm. I think that's a good example of a lot of things depend on what you're using stuff for. Like I've had people who've been telling me to get a MacBook and I will eventually, like right now I have a Dell Inspiron, but I'm one of those folks that they're like, I need to have, like what type of processing do you need? What are you using your laptop for? That's gonna be big for podcasting. Whether, you're editing videos, just doing audio, or, that mix of both. How much space do you need? How much memory do you need? What's your
Do you,
processing speed? Like
what
I don't go
software?
below
What
I don't go below
software?
an i7
Yeah.
software that
Oh,
you're using. Like I
yeah.
don't go below an i7. Like as much as there's times you might look at an ad like, damn, why do I got to be so goddamn picky? But it's like I'm using stuff that I need to be able to run multiple things
Yep.
and have the least amount of chance of it crashing. I got, solid state drive. It's more reliable. I got to worry about if it get banged up once or twice that everything is, ruined and jacked up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't do as much video editing, which is like really the only reason why right now I just bought this about 2 years ago. It's the only reason why I didn't get a Mac. Since I'm one of those people, I think if you want to get something that's good and quality and it's going to work for you, you might feel that pressure of pain beforehand, but it's good to pay for it. Like, you know, I'm not buying an i9 right now because nothing needs an i9, you know. But most, software that you use, and
Not
I
for
think
the
that's a
price
good
they
thing if you're
charge.
running that. Not at all. I'm like, that's like about 4 car payments. I'm not paying that for that. And, who knows how the hell it's going to work later on, or if it's going to get outmoded or if the price goes down eventually. But like with most software that people use, like I always say, look at the baseline of what it says that you need for it to run and go above it. You don't got to go horribly above it, but you want to be able to have more than just that running. I mean, you don't want to like open up a window to do a quick web browse. And next thing you know, everything slows down, or heaven forbid you listen back to a recording, you just hear that like that crazy noise when stuff slowed down
Yep.
with things, but you weren't recognizing it because you were talking, you were engaged in the conversation, you were chilling. All that. Like I'm one of those believers. I'm like some things you don't necessarily got to be name brand, and you don't got to be horribly expensive with. Some stuff that's going to be like your core usage. Just pay the extra money. I think a computer, pay that little bit of extra money. Trust me, you're not going to regret that part. I mean, of course, look at reviews and all of that. Talk to people that you know, but nothing is going to be worse than looking at something that you paid a few $100s for, and then being there like later on in the game, like shit. If I pay two, pardon me, we can't curse on here. I don't know. I'm sorry, but
Not
but
generally, but
just like that
they
first
say it.
episode, my
If you
bad.
say it on the radio, I guess it's not the end of the world.
Okay, that'll be my one PG-13 rating for the podcast. But if you get a laptop, you pay $500, you could avoid so many problems later on. You go down the road a few months later and be like, if I just pay that extra $300, or just decide that I would stretch that payment out by whatever means you pay for it, like it's just worth that while. That when you be realistic, you want to be able to try to step up, but again, like I hate saying like stuff like we just talked about the soundboard. Like I hate saying those $99 um microphone boards and all of that, because you literally could pay $25 to $50 extra and your sound quality is going to change 100-fold. It's not like we're talking about, well, if you're of this class, you can't do it. We're not saying that. It's just sometimes you just got to look at what you're getting. And we're in the age right now where you do get more options to literally see and hear reviews, because shout out to YouTube reviews. Some of those have saved me from a lot of danger and a lot of problems, especially with my other side part of what I do with the show with live events and like looking at PA systems and things. Look at all of that and just see what you're trying to do right now, and maybe not maybe 5 steps ahead, but maybe 1 or 2 steps ahead where you may want to go, and go from there. Like most podcasting is still going to be ultimately audio based. So you're going to want to have everybody be able to hear you and your co-host and your guest and everybody else, have everything be clear. If you have music being incorporated, you want to make sure all of that type of stuff is good and clear sounding, because I forget what the stat was where they said like after yay many seconds, if somebody's not grabbed to your podcast, they're going to tune out and go out of there. A lot of that's going to depend on how they can hear you and your voice, much less the content that's going down, and that's happening. I mentioned Reaper as a recording program. Everybody might not be able to afford Pro Tools, but I think now it's on a subscription basis, if I remember properly, unless you get like the lifetime, which I think is like a few $100s. But again, a Reaper, they give you the PDF to download, learn how to use everything. There's a whole bunch of there's a whole bunch of YouTube tutorials, and 60 something dollars. I mean, you're not going to get much better than that besides like Audacity, which is free. So maybe you want to talk about Audacity. Reaper also too, I forgot to mention, you don't got to buy the license immediately for Reaper.
Oh, it's a
You
free
can use
trial.
Reaper. It's a free trial as long as you want to use it. Now you're gonna have to wait a few seconds before it loads in, but they want to give you a chance to be hands on with it. So be like, hey, you're on trial day or whatever, whatever, whatever. But then you can open up. You'll have full functionality of how to use the program.
So it's like
So,
Rimrar. It's like how long does that last?
yeah, but I mean they've been around for a minute, and like if you want to get your hands wet with it, I think it's a good thing if you want to get into a more complex recording type of program and whatnot. And then if you're going to enter into like that room, 60 something dollars is nothing, you know, when you get into stuff and maybe you want to get multi mixed into certain things.
I feel like I'm not sure what you're referring to on the join stage.
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
Try expand on that for me there. So in the meantime, I got a few things to go and expand upon and plug.
Yes.
If MapCon or MapCon, no, Icon Indie PodCon is happening September 24th to the 26th, 2020. Get 10% off if you use offer code IPP, indiepodcon.com/register to get your ticket today. It will never be cheaper than that. The free webinar, Monetize Your Podcast, I should have edited that, is this Thursday, as in tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Go to indiepodcon.com/MYP to register your spot. Seats are limited. Samantha Riley and I are running it. And shout out to Eric Hunley from Unstructured. for giving me this shirt, this awesome shirt. I absolutely I adore his logo. I adore him, but his logo, I absolutely love it. It reminds me of the Great Movie Ride in Disney World. Well,
Yeah,
now defunct Great Movie Ride, but yeah, I absolutely love it. If you're in the Philly area, we are putting together a Philly podcaster meetup November 17th. It's going to be in the early afternoon. So mark that on your calendar. We're getting the details together, and we will have a link for people to go and register to make it out to that. The MapCon 5 vlog is coming out on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. It'll be on YouTube. You'll be able to get to it from indiepodcon.com/vlog5. I am super pumped to be able to share this video with everybody. Unlike last year. So last year's
Mhm.
video, Mary, I don't know if you watched it, but it was like an hour and like 40 minutes
that
long.
that was long because I looked and I'm like, I'm trying, but Joe ain't lying about this being like a mega vlog.
It
Yo.
was
This gonna
way
move.
too long. I mean, the previous year I think was 40 minutes, and I got a lot of positive feedback on that. This one came in just shy of 35 minutes. I managed to pack
All right.
4 days of content of life into 35 minutes, and it's just like nonstop going boom, 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 boom. It was so much. I mean, the conference was so much fun, but getting to relive it through the vlog is just. I'm so glad that I took the time to do it, and even though it took a little longer than I wanted to, because I went to Disney World like right after that. And then when I got back, I went, or I had, so I was in Disney for like 10 days. So like I was like a week after MapCon, went to Disney for like 10 days. And then, I had to catch up in life because when you go, as you know, when you go on vacation and come
Mm-hmm.
back, like life is there waiting for you.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so I
Trust
had to,
me.
yeah, I had to get all caught up with that. But yeah, less than 35 minutes. I think it's like 34 minutes and 50 seconds or something short like that. So it's very short, very punchy, just boom, boom, boom. I had a lot of fun putting it together. The other thing I have to mention, DC Podfest is next weekend. Mary, you'll be
Yes,
speaking there. What
indeed.
are you speaking on?
Um, I will actually not be speaking there this year. However, I will be DJing the networking party that first night that on the
Oh,
first.
I won't be
So folks are gonna
there.
be over there, come through, say hey. On Saturday, I'll be through supporting other folks, checking out different programming or whatever. This year was kind of I think 2019 is interesting in general for people personally and otherwise. It was kind of hectic for me at the beginning of the year, so unfortunately I wasn't able to put in anything to speak. But shouts out, Jennifer Crawford and the lovely crew at DC Podfest. They were like, hey, if, you can, play some tunes for folks or whatever, that'll be cool. So yeah, if y'all will be there, then check it out. And on Saturday, I'll be walking around, say hi, and maybe
Yeah, so
do some
I
things. Will you be
that
there?
that I will be there. I will be there on Saturday.
Awesome.
Saturday
Okay.
morning I'll be there. Yeah, I can't go and stay overnight, unfortunately. I think I'm actually supposed to shoot a wedding on Friday. So
Oh
uh
wow. Okay.
yeah, it's gonna be
So when
fun.
does Super Joe Pardo sleep? Because
Right
you sleep
after
less than
right
me.
after
It's
this.
kind of frightening.
Right after this, so anybody that missed it, I've been up since like 2:30 this morning. I was sick last night. I was supposed to be on a live stream podcast with Chris Ripka, for anybody who's familiar with Chris. And unfortunately, about 2 hours prior to it, I started to feel sick, and I was solo parenting my two kids. So I was trying to get all that done. And I was like, okay, it's 8 o'clock. I was like, if I don't take a NyQuil pill now, I will be and I'll be a zombie all day tomorrow. So it's like I gotta take this pill right now. I can't wait any longer. So I texted him and was like, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I can't stay up till 10 o'clock to do the show with you. I gotta go to sleep." So I took the pill, went to bed. I was in bed by 9 o'clock, 9:15 or something like that. And then I woke up at 2:30 and I couldn't go back to bed for what
Mhm.
for whatever the reason. Couldn't go back to bed, and then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna wake up and start working on the vlog, and I was able to, get it far enough along, and then was able to knock it out during lunch today. So, yeah, super pumped for that. I'm super excited for Jennifer Crawford. For anyone who doesn't know, she was at the first ever MapCon in the school gymnasium as well. So I'm super proud of her and the way that her DC Podfest has grown year over year. And finally, I think finally the last thing I want to bring up is so Samantha Riley and I are also running a Monetize Your Podcast Mastermind and Retreat. Literally before I got on this call, this to do this podcast with Mary, I was on a call with Sam and one of our podcast mastermind. What are they like mastermindees? I don't know. I don't know what the term is,
Mm-hmm.
but one of the people on our mastermind for some one-on-one time together, and it was really great. We were able to help like open up a whole bunch of eyeballs. Clear. I'm starting to lose it, Mary. It's going downhill.
I'm hearing the I need sleep soon announcements. It's understandable.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Yeah, so we were on the call and we were able to open up like so many things that she needs to work on for turning her podcast into her business and making sure that everything just works the way from the branding to the messaging to the marketing and the way she talks about it. Everything just comes together as one solid package. So when people hear it, they say no or they say yes. Either way, you have a definitive, not like, yeah, I'm not really sure. You're making me think too hard to figure out what the heck this is all about and what's going on. So we're putting together that mastermind, the monetize your podcast mastermind and retreat, indiepodcon.com/retreat to learn more about it. The retreat's in February 6th and 9th down in Orlando, Florida. I'm actually buying my plane tickets because like Southwest is shout out to Southwest, $66 each way. Can't beat it.
Yeah. I
So
gotta
yeah.
do that myself right now for that upcoming event and conference. Like, let me do it while it's early because I'll regret it later on.
Are you talking about Podfest?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I gotta
gotta
do
figure that out.
Podfest this year.
I do too. I
So,
was just talking to Chris about this. Shout out to Chris Kremitzos,
mhm,
who just launched his book today as well. Another
no
member
doubt.
of the Icon family. Um, yeah, so I gotta figure that out. I mean, there's so many things that I need to figure out, and that's there's only so much time that I can be away from the family and from my work and everything like that. So
Uh, that is the struggle of all of this being independent. Like, I still have stuff I need to do. Like, I love doing this, but I got stuff to do now. If y'all want to give us money to have this be our own living, please feel free to do so. But
help amplify the message. That's what we're trying to accomplish here.
because Capital One and all of them don't care. After
Yeah,
a
they
while, they're
do.
like, we want your stuff to be paid on time. AT&T don't care. For me,
No,
Ford don't care, etc., etc.
no, they do not care. They just want the money. Show me the
They want their
money.
money.
Mary, before we wrap up and get out of here, is there
Mhm.
any last thoughts you'd like to impart on the podcasting audience?
Sure. First and foremost, I mean, I'm sure the vast majority of people on here are already podcasting or soon will be. On a general end, definitely do this because of your passion for things, whether it's your passion to promote your business, personal stuff, whatever. That's what makes podcasting great. Please don't be just another dry imitation of somebody else because we don't have to be. That's the beautiful thing about this particular format. You might be feeling you're the most niche person ever, but somebody else finds you, you're in there. So do that. We've talked a whole lot about equipment, but make sure that you get the right equipment for what you need. You can always grow and expand from there. Start at a decent core and move on up. Um, you've heard Joe talk about all of these great events, large, medium, small. Podcasting conferences I think are good to go to and whatnot. Like I live in the DC metro area. That's why extra hype about the DC Podfest and stuff. But go to these events, learn things, be able to build with folks, not just within your particular Metro E region, but beyond, because other people do travel down to these events. And yeah, lastly, for people who have any type of time to get into this type of thing, definitely look into these organizations that are about independent media and the free press, because that's what we are right now, y'all. It's not about everybody having to be super political or super deep. If we like how things are going right now and how we're going to maintain things from going, um, on some level, even if it's just talking about these type of issues, maybe get a little deeper, it's something that we're gonna have to do. Like we're kind of lucky. We haven't gotten to the realm of past big mainstream media yet, in terms of like newspapers, radio, TV, where everything got like caught up by a conglomerate. Unless you're super hooked up, you're kind of doomed. We're literally on the cusp of a dope thing with like still having the same worldwide distribution a CNN, NBC, etc. has, and those particular channels. So we want to keep it that way. We got to keep going for and fighting for it. And I think on multiple levels, that's about it. Y'all heard Joe talking about Independent Podcast Conference. Y'all go and check that out. Been there the past few years. Trust me, I'm not going to hype up anything I don't want to, or I don't think it's cool. I'm not that type. If nothing else about our show, you will learn that quickly about us. Definitely go to his event to get a chance to. Y'all got plenty of time before September 2020 to check stuff out. And again, all these great events, man. DC Podfest, Podfest in Orlando. Hopefully there'll be a She Podcast Live 2020, 2021, depending on when they want to do it. And whatever else is happening in your area. I mean, I get emails constantly about new podcast conferences and meetups and things happening. So, your local area, especially like in a mid to bigger metro area, you probably have something already going on that you may not know. So if you're feeling a little lost or drifting all that, the net is cool, but it's always good if you have a live component to meet up with folks to go on ahead and getting that too. And at the moment, that's about it. There's thousands of podcasting newsletters out there, how to podcast, what's going on in the podcast world. I myself am a little tired personally, so I can't think of certain titles right now. But definitely go on ahead. I think like Podcast Business Journal is like one of the folks I get stuff from. But
Pod News.
Yeah, there we go.
Even Podcast
check those
Movement
folks
has
out.
their own the daily, I think, newsletter on podcasting. Yeah, there is a ton of. Speaking of resources, you just softballed it up for me, Mary. And I wasn't going to make this announcement, but you just threw it right up there for
Just
me to
throwing
crush
it
it.
in there.
Yeah, I'm working on. So now that the vlog is done, once it goes, now that it's done and it's going to go live again Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. I am going to start to redo the Indie PodCon website because the homepage is kind of it leaves a lot to be desired. So we're also working on getting some more announcements together. I'm meeting with the committee on Monday. So hopefully I'll have some answers for Monday and we can start to move forward then. If you're interested in speaking there, we will be looking for speakers starting in January. And one of the things that goes along with me revamping the website is I'm going to be dumping a lot more time and effort into SEO and writing more. Like one of the first articles is like the how to podcast article, like an expansive one that actually uses one of my video courses that I did like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, and basically take that and put it into word form, but include the videos into it and interweave some of the talks that we've had over the years from MapCon and kind of make it so that it's just this ultimate like how to start your how to start a podcast guide. So look for more things like that in the near future. Especially now that I got this vlog this monkey off my back with this vlog that I was trying to get done. But yeah, Mary, before we wrap up, plug your stuff, how people can get in touch with you.
Sure. Main website for us is fuseboxradio.com, FUSEBOXRADIO.com. That breaks down more the history of what we've done, how folks may want to submit music, do interview requests, book folks for events, DJing and speaking. I got to actually update the speaking page since I've had people like kind of yell at me about that in terms of like videos and guest appearances on shows like this and so forth we need to put up, and awesome podcast conferences, which again, given the handoff, such as yours, and so forth. Um, Social media, pretty much everything ends with Fusebox Radio except for Facebook. So Facebook is facebook.com/Fusebox Radio Show. But that's where we'll post up like shows, music playlists in between episodes. Like, I'm a huge music fan. I'll post up Spotify playlists of stuff that I think folks should check out and groove to. Interesting news articles and all of that. Um, yeah, the Instagram, Twitter, etc. On Fusebox Radio, you'll see pics of us doing different stuff, promos, and all of that. And event wise, this Sunday we'll be DJing on the course of the Marine Corps Marathon for the 5th year. So if you're in the DC metro area, mile 22 will be set up early, be pretty much there just about all day, probably until like about 2, 3 p.m., playing music for the spectators, runners, etc. Um, we talked about DC Podfest. I'll be at DC Podfest as an attendee and also DJing the networking party on the 1st of November.
Yep.
Um,
1st November.
Again, let's see.
Sad I won't be there.
There's private stuff. Yeah, that's like, but we'll see you on Saturday. Private events are coming up, and it kind of cools down a little bit for holidays and all of that. But I'm definitely going ahead and check out the show. We're on all your favorite podcast apps of choice and stuff. So Apple Podcast, Spotify, Podcast Addict, Castbox, wherever. Search for Fusebox Radio. You'll see our nice Fusebox Radio logo. Hit the button and subscribe if you like what we do. Please give us a positive rating on whatever format those are in. That gets us to more ears and those recommendation lists, which are always kind of funny to see what other people listen to besides you, because our list is very weird on certain sites where it's like, we listen to y'all and NPR and somebody who's totally opposite of both things, and then here's another music podcast or whatever else. So that is it for the promo spiel. Our blog is going to be revamped for 2020 because of the upcoming mini podcast project that we're kind of keeping on the wraps right now. We're going to try to launch at that time. If you want to check out the archives of that, that's on blackradioisback.com. And yeah, that's about it. If you like photography too, side note, because Joe was showing off some of his new tech he has on that and whatnot. So I can like so I could like look at my account again and be like, fuseboxradiophotography.com, which is also linked to fuseboxradio.com. But that's just an example of some of the stuff that people shoot at in terms of the extra press things that we do in terms of events and stuff, as well as like private events. So that is it. And thanks for everybody for listening into this live and soon to be on your own podcast app of choice through, the Super Joe Pardo iPodcast, any and everything all day and whatnot network. Because this, I'm sure people know, this man podcast a lot, along with doing 90,000 businesses, along with having two, mini chibi podcasters in his house and his lovely wife and doing family things and so forth. So the man juggles a lot, y'all. So
I appreciate that. I really try to give everything I possibly can to the people around me.
Honestly, for people who have never seen him at MapCon and the soon to be independent podcast conference, I'm like, how? I'm tired and I'm just attending and traveling back and forth from my residence back there and doing whatever else. Like, you will literally see Joe like holding one or both children, holding a camera, running around, hosting, doing other stuff, talking to his family, which super dope supportive family will be all there. I'm just there like, man, like, do you mainline Red Bull, sir? What are you doing?
I actually don't drink.
That's an event dedication. I love folks who do events like this, and you just see that it's truly in there.
Well, it's funny because like I don't normally drink caffeine, but at the conference I shared my the drink that I was wearing, the drink that I was wearing, the drink that I was drinking with you, and that so I try to use it as caffeine as a tool rather than as I need it every day. So when I do drink it, it's like it actually accomplishes, but I don't like the way it makes me feel. Like I feel like
You get the jitters or
no, but just I just feel like tight, like,
mm,
and I
okay.
don't my brain is still like my brain's tired, so it's like hazy, but yet I can still keep going. But no, I really appreciate all that, Mary. I really like I said, I try to give 110% of myself to what I do, and like yourself, I
Mm,
don't like to put myself out there in a way that is for things that I don't really care or don't believe in.
mm,
Um, and I think I like to think that it shows, and here we are, like almost 5.5 years into it. And I don't know if you saw that post this morning or any of the other posts. I think you did about or from a couple days ago about possibly me bringing my old show back, the Dreamers
yeah,
podcast.
I saw
So
that.
we'll see. I'm working on it. It's just taking a little bit of time to get the gears all greased up, and the show never really changed for me, but
Mm,
the name changed, and just how I feel about the show. No, excuse me. The how I feel about
mm,
the show changed, and how I view the show, and how I think the show views me.
mm,
And I feel like with Dreamers Podcast, I just had that that freedom of creativity, the freedom to express myself and express the guests that I want to bring on, and talk about
mm,
the business lessons that I want to talk about, and talk about the life lessons that I want to talk about. And it just gives me that freedom versus just being about business.
yeah.
I just think it's not that I love business, like I could talk about it all day long, but
Mm,
having that freedom, I think means a lot to me. So
mm,
yeah, so we'll see. I maybe by next week I'll talk a little more about that.
yeah.
Speaking of next week, so last week I was supposed to have Benjamin Mullen on. Unfortunately, he had a family thing. He, being a family guy, he had to take care of his daughter, and I ended up having Samantha Riley on the show. Well, Benjamin Mullen and I, through some crazy loophole in my calendar, the 30th of October was open, and I was able to give him that slot, the 8 o'clock. So next Wednesday, 8 o'clock, Mischief Night. Be here 8 o'clock Eastern for interview with Benjamin Mullen, talking podcasting,
Okay.
talking mostly podcasting. That's what we talk about here on the Indie podcast. Everybody, I hope you have an amazing rest of your week and a great weekend ahead. And I'm pumped to be going to DC Podfest, not this weekend, but next weekend. And hopefully I'll have some big announcements starting next weekend or next week on next week's show. Not just about Dreamers Podcast or Business with Super Joe Pardo, but the Indie Pod conference and so many other things as well. Everybody have a great night. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, bed is a good thing. Y'all have a good night.